Title: Whispers of the Past. The air was thick with the scent of old wood and something acrid, something that felt like history curled beneath the floorboards of my childhood home. I stood at the front door, the warmth of the late afternoon sun washing over me. But my heart felt like a stone in my chest as I knocked. I hadn't been here in years, years spent wrapped in the suffocating silence of abandoned buildings, absorbing the haunting echoes of voices no one else could hear. "Whom is it?" My mother's voice, tinged with suspicion, floated through the door. "It's me, Mom. I'm back." The door creaked open, and her expression, a mix of confusion and concern, mirrored the myriad emotions swirling inside me. I stepped across the threshold, my fingers brushing against the familiar wallpaper that now felt foreign, alien. Behind her, my father and brother stood, their faces hardened by disdain. They had made their stance clear long ago. I was the mad one, chasing shadows while they toiled away in a world that valued rationality. "Why are you here?" my father asked, crossing his arms like a prison guard. "Because I have something important to show you." I took a deep breath, desperately trying to calm the tremors in my hands. "Something you need to hear." They exchanged glances, their eyes narrowing with skepticism. "You're still obsessed with that ridiculous audio nonsense? The world has moved on, and so should you." "Just listen to me, please." My voice cracked under the weight of years spent in ridicule. "You have to understand, I've uncovered something." The silence stretched uncomfortably, and finally my mother sighed, stepping aside. "All right, come in, but I'm not promising to take you seriously." I followed them into the living room, where the air felt charged with unspoken judgment. I pulled out my laptop, fingers trembling, as I opened the archive of recorded voices, those wretched, unyielding echoes that had become my life's work. Here, I pressed play, the room filling with the cacophony of frantic pleas, the terrified calls that had lingered long after their makers had perished. 911, please help me. A voice crackled through the speakers, a sound so desperate it clawed at my insides. "They're coming for me." "Stop it," my brother shouted, covering his ears. "This is sick." But the voices continued, layering over one another, each a haunting reminder of the past, each a warning of the future. "Mom, Dad, please," I begged, my heart pounding against my ribcage. "You need to understand. These aren't just voices, they're echoes of the disasters that are yet to come. I've mapped them, documented everything. I can prove it. These are not just sounds, they are harbingers." But they were already dismissing me again, rolling their eyes as if I were a child throwing a tantrum. "You need help," my father muttered under his breath. But I caught it. Desperation clawed at me, and I pressed on. "Listen to this." I clicked to a different file, this one recent, one I had recorded just days ago. "This one's about a car accident. It's going to happen in exactly 3 days, on the corner of Elm and 5th. Their laughter echoed off the walls, a cruel symphony that crushed my spirit. "You think you can predict the future with some old recordings? You're delusional." And then it happened. The lights flickered violently, and a low rumble emanated from somewhere deep within the house. I thought it was just my imagination, but then I saw their expressions change as the stuttering voices from the recording filled the room, louder and clearer than ever before. "Please, you have to help me. I can't breathe." "Someone's—" Suddenly, the room grew icy, the temperature dropping so rapidly that I could see my breath misting in front of me. The shadows in the corners deepened, thickening, twisting. "Make it stop!" my mother screamed, her voice rising in terror. "Shutting her off!" my brother pleaded, clawing at the air in panic. But it was too late. The echoes around us grew harsher, more insistent, drowning out the recordings. I could see the specters of the past twisting into existence, a swirl of anguished faces, their mouths moving in synchronized horror, begging for help. "Help us!" they chorused, their voices layering over one another, a grotesque symphony that pierced through my family's disbelief. Their laughter faded into shrieks of terror, their skepticism shattered by the weight of what I had always known. I had spent years collecting these voices, honing my ability to listen. And now I was the conduit for their cries. "Why didn't you believe me?" I whispered, feeling the power of my knowledge pulsing around us, a tangible presence of fear and regret. As the last echo faded, the room fell into a heavy silence, the specters retreating like smoke sucked into a void. My family stood frozen, their faces pale, eyes wide, as the realization seeped in. What once was a joke had become a living nightmare, and I was the unwitting harbinger of truth. I closed my laptop, the weight of 1,000 truths pressing down on me as I turned to face them. I'm not the disgrace you thought I was. I survived what you couldn't comprehend. With that, I took my leave, stepping back into the world that lay beyond their doors, leaving behind a family forever haunted by their disbelief. I knew now that the shadows I carried were not mine alone. They were a crown, forged from the echoes of those who had warned us all along. As I walked away, I turned back for one last look. They stood there, forever changed, grappling with the consequences of their mockery. The cost of their disbelief hung in the air like a shroud, a chilling reminder that the past never truly fades, and sometimes it gathers its strength to return.